What would you do if you were on a plane that was on fire or falling from the sky? These are terrifying aircraft accident moments captured on camera. Let's take a look, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Все.
Ой, упал.
The first incident happened not long ago. On an evening in early November 2025, a UPS McDonnell Douglas MD-11 cargo aircraft crashed and exploded shortly after taking off from Louisville International Airport in Kentucky. Preliminary reports indicated that the left engine caught fire shortly after takeoff. The crash killed 13 people and injured many others. Several buildings in the industrial area caught fire, with the blaze spreading across roughly 800 meters. Lawyers representing the victims have filed a lawsuit against the company that owned the aircraft, arguing that the plane had been in service for more than 30 years and was no longer safe to operate. The incident is still under investigation. This is a helicopter, but the way it lands might make you think it's a Boeing. A truly impressive emergency landing. This accident involved a FedEx MD-11 cargo aircraft in Tokyo, Japan, on March 23, 2009. The aircraft veered off the runway, likely due to strong wind gusts, leading to a catastrophic crash. The plane exploded, killing both crew members on board. This helicopter is attempting to land when it suddenly begins to shake violently. The phenomenon may be caused by ground resonance. In the next incident, a Beechcraft V-35B was forced to make an emergency landing due to bad weather. However, a mistake by the pilot caused the aircraft to explode, claiming his life. This helicopter is attempting to take off in an area surrounded by trees, but the pilot misjudged the clearance. ADHC-8, operated by SAS Commuter, experienced a landing gear collapse shortly after touchdown. The right wing and the number 2 propeller struck the runway, triggering a fire. The aircraft veered to the right and spun before coming to a stop on the grass beside the runway. Fortunately, no one was injured. A Canadair CL-215 water bomber was battling a wildfire near Charistos, Greece, unaware that it was about to become the one needing rescue. The float on the right wing struck a tree, forcing the aircraft into an uncontrolled right turn. It slammed into the ground and erupted into a fireball. Both people on board were killed. This Royal Air Force Harrier made an emergency landing at Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan. The British pilot ejected safely as the aircraft slid along the runway and caught fire.
Let's see if you can make it. It's a bit shaky there.
A bit shaky?
Yeah. It's like...
This guy's having a hard time.
Oh my God! It's crashed.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
In 1999, an MD-11 operated by China Airlines crashed while landing during a storm in Hong Kong. Just before touchdown, the aircraft flipped over and slid along the runway, coming to a stop upside down. A fire broke out near the tail section. Of the 315 people on board, 3 were killed.
It's crashed.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. There's gonna be casualties.
A Puma SA-330BA helicopter lost control due to ground resonance and spun violently during a French military exercise in 1999. Fortunately, everyone on board survived. In this incident, a Sukhoi Su-34 of the Russian Air Force crashed into a residential building in the city of Yeysk. Both pilots ejected just seconds before the aircraft went down. However, 15 people inside the building were killed. The aircraft was on a training flight, and the crash was attributed to an engine fire shortly after takeoff. Another incident occurred in Russia. A Tu-204 overran the runway at Moscow Airport, broke apart, and ended up blocking the M3 highway. There were 8 crew members on board. 5 were killed and 3 were seriously injured. This Tu-134 was taking off from Gvardiskoye Air Base in Ukraine when engine number 1 failed and caught fire, possibly due to a bird strike. The takeoff was aborted, but the situation was far from over. Although the aircraft was engulfed in flames, all 20 people on board survived. 3 of them sustained minor injuries. A Corvus Fusion aircraft crashed at Kudinovo Airport in Russia. During the flight, it made several low passes over the runway. After suddenly climbing, The pilot attempted a spinning maneuver but lost control. The aircraft crashed into the ground, killing the pilot.
Oh my God! Oh no.
A MiG-23 fighter jet was performing at the Thunder over Michigan Air Show when it suddenly caught fire and fell from the sky. Both pilots managed to eject in time, but the aircraft crashed into a residential area, causing significant property damage.
Oh my gosh! Whoa! Crap!
A Cessna 414 lost control while attempting to land. Authorities believe the pilot may have been distracted by a radio malfunction, which led to several errors during the approach. The pilot was killed in the accident. On July 25, 2000, Concorde FBTSC, operated by Air France, caught fire during takeoff from Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Seconds after liftoff, both left engines lost thrust and the aircraft crashed into a hotel. All 109 people on board and 4 people on the ground were killed. During a practice flight for an air show at Lethbridge Airport, a Canadian Armed Forces F-18 Hornet crashed. The pilot ejected at about 30 meters above the ground, less than 3 seconds before the aircraft impacted. On August 17, 2021, the prototype Ilyushin IL-112V military transport took off from Kubinka Air Base in Russia for a test flight. 4 minutes later, a fire broke out in the right engine. The aircraft then crashed into a wooded area, killing all 3 people on board.
Я не знаю. Он что, падает? Да. Все. Ой, упал. Мама дорогая. Ё-моё. Ой, вообще ужас какой. Боже мой.
The Mach 3 XB-70 Valkyrie bomber suffered a tire blowout during landing, which quickly sparked a fire. Fortunately, the incident was limited to the burning tire. In the next incident, a Cirrus SR-22 was destroyed in a crash near Little Rock, Arkansas. The pilot was killed, and the preliminary cause was identified as an engine failure. In this incident, an Sukhoi Su-24 of the Iranian Air Force crashed while landing at Tehran Mehrabad International Airport after reporting a technical problem. Although the aircraft was completely destroyed, the pilot managed to escape safely before the crash. On September 20th, 1995, a U.S. Navy F-14A was performing a demonstration flight near the carrier USS John Paul Jones when the aircraft suddenly broke apart in midair. The pilot had pulled the controls too aggressively, creating extreme G-forces that caused the aircraft to disintegrate. A Vans aircraft RV-12 sport plane lost control and crashed into the roof of a hangar. The pilot was the only fatality. Investigators believe the accident may have been caused by an assembly error in the aircraft. Next is another helicopter incident caused by ground resonance. Any mistake in operating an aircraft can lead to serious consequences. In this case, the pilot retracted the landing gear too early during takeoff, leading to a disastrous outcome. In 1955, an F-7U Cutlass attempted to land on the USS Hancock, but came in too low and struck the ramp leading to the flight deck. The pilot was killed, and 3 crew members on the deck also died when the aircraft's fuel ignited. In the next incident, an F-111 of the Royal Australian Air Force experienced a landing gear failure and was forced to perform a belly landing. During a military exercise at Fort Bragg, a U.S. Air Force C-130 Hercules crashed while demonstrating a low-altitude airdrop. The aircraft nearly struck spectators before crashing and bursting into flames. 4 crew members and 1 soldier on the ground were killed, while 2 other crew members were injured. The crew deployed the parachute used to pull a tank from the cargo bay too late, causing the aircraft to strike the ground. In 1996, an F-14 carrier landing ended in a serious accident. The aircraft approached too low, struck the deck, and exploded. The radar intercept officer survived, but the pilot was killed. This F-18 was forced to make an emergency landing after a technical problem. It touched down hard and slid off the runway. Fortunately, the pilot escaped without serious injuries. In the next incident, during a test flight, this F-14 Tomcat experienced a hydraulic system failure. The pilot lost control and was forced to eject. The aircraft crashed not far from its base and was completely destroyed. This South Korean F-16C experienced an emergency after taking off from Seosan Air Base. A fire broke out shortly after departure. The pilot ejected safely, and the aircraft crashed into a rice field. Investigators later determined the cause to be a material failure in the engine fan blades. This Hercules C-130 was dropping fire retardant on a 10,000-acre wildfire near Walker, California. The wing suddenly broke apart, and the aircraft crashed near a commercial area. All 3 crew members on board were killed.
All 3 people on board were...
In this incident, an Italian G222 made a hard landing during the Royal International Air Tattoo at Fairford. The nose landing gear collapsed, triggering a fire. Fortunately, firefighters quickly brought the blaze under control. On February 12, 2002, a Mirage 2000 crashed during a training flight at BA-115 Air Base in Orange, France. The crew was preparing for an Alpha demonstration maneuver, but descended too low, and the engine nozzles struck the runway. The aircraft briefly lifted again, giving the crew enough time to eject safely. This pilot was flying the Gripen for the first time and encountered issues with the aircraft's electronic stability system. During landing, the left wing struck the runway and the aircraft crashed. Fortunately, the pilot suffered only minor injuries. This aircraft was affected by pilot-induced oscillation, a condition where the flight control system reacts too slowly to the pilot's inputs, causing the aircraft to oscillate uncontrollably. A bomb released by an F-18 Hornet struck an A-4 Skyhawk flying nearby. The A-4 erupted into flames after the impact. Fortunately, the pilot managed to eject in time and escaped safely. You've just witnessed a series of shocking aircraft accidents captured on camera. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel to support us and help us keep making more videos. See you in the next one.
Sure.